It is 6 p.m. and a soggy evening here on the North Coast. Welcome to the Civic Union, a collaboration between the Department of Communication Studies at Cal Poly Humboldt and KZZH, uniting the people of Humboldt County with their elected representatives and community helpers. As always, we would love to hear from you. You can drop us an email to thecivicunion@gmail.com. We will read and respond to appropriate emails on the air. Maybe you know someone representing your community that we could profile on our show. Give it a try. That's the Civic Union, all one word, at gmail.com. Or you can also text us. That's right, it's new. The number is 707 498 4146. Send us questions for our guest. We'll do our best to read them out and get them answered live on the air. Are you out there, Humboldt County? The number is 707 498 4146. And tonight, you can talk to Northern Humboldt High School District Board member Cedric Aaron Jr., who has been serving on the NHUHSD School Board as a trustee since 2020. This is his first term. Most of his professional career has been spent in clinical social work and in the public sectors. He has worked in public education from local elementary, junior high schools to high schools and local college institutions, and is currently an administrator right here where our studio is located on the beautiful campus of the College of the Redwoods. He's lived in Humboldt County since 2009 with his wife and three daughters. Cedric, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the Civic Union tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. And first, I have to definitely shout out my my four basketball teams in my district. Right now, they're playing right now. The Arcata Girls Tigers going against the McKinleyville Panthers right up in Arcata for the first round, the Nikolai, and then at 7:30, the Arcata High boys are traveling to McKinleyville High. For to see who will be the number one seed for the Nikolai tournament, as well as playoff seedings for the upcoming sectional playoffs. So just wanted to give those teams some shout outs and also why I'm not at those games, because usually I'm at the game hooting and hollering, and some of the students and parents are probably getting on me right now, but it's all good. Go no hum.
It sounds like some heavy stakes here in the North Coast going down on the hardwood there. And now we know the first answer to the first question at 707 498 4146. Why aren't you at the game? Well, because you're here to talk to us tonight about your work with the school district. Very exciting. Your bio from the Cal Poly Humboldt Department of Social Work it says that you moved here from Chico in 2010. It says your wife was born and raised in Humboldt and that you originated in the Bay Area. Tell our listeners a little bit about where you're from and why you live and work in Humboldt County.
Jeez. All right. Let me try to make this a concise version.
Oh, take all the time
So,
you want. We have all night.
all right. No, so yeah, I was born and raised in the Bay Area, San Jose to be exact, South Bay. Hop over by Santa Cruz for folks who know their Highway 17, the beast. So be careful. And yes, I'm here and alive and well. I survived Highway 17, but I digress. Yeah, so born and raised, and I say this often in my professional hats. I'm a first gen college student. So I was the first person in my family to do the college thing. And I'm the oldest out of five. And total mama's boy. And being the oldest came with that title of being the protector, making sure that everybody's good. So I decided to stay home at least my first year of college, and I went to San Jose State, which was fine and all, you know what I mean. But at that time, back then, San Jose State was a big commuter school, and I just wasn't really receiving what I thought college was gonna give me. And again, I never been to college, so I was getting all my information off of TV and movies. So I saw for college people would like take naps, you know what I mean, and throw frisbees, you know what I mean, and not get your stuff stolen, you know what I mean. And yeah, like again, San Jose State, not to shade them, it just it was folks went to school and then they left, you know what I mean. And at
It's a
that
big
time,
state school. There's a lot going on, a lot of activity, probably,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
for sure. And it was at that, did a lot of self, not even at that age. I feel like I've having, utilizing self-reflection. I feel like I've done that since I was a small child, you know what I mean? Just being in my own space, being in my head and just kind of reflecting on all the things. And within during that time of self-reflection, I just felt like, yeah, like I'm not growing as an individual. I love my family, I love my community back home, but I felt like I, there was something more that I needed to experience, to grow, to evolve, or however you wanted to put it. And so I made the difficult choice to tell my parent, well, to my mom and my brothers and my sister and stuff. I'm going to be transferring, and no one in my family has ever done that before.
Wow. Yeah.
It was a really, really weird thing and big deal that I did that. So,
Big risk for a first gen college student in general. Statistically, we can see that, like to transfer away.
yeah, absolutely. Like I
Big
didn't,
challenge.
yeah. So, I mean, I didn't have like like a plug to be like, hey, like, how do you do this? Like,
Mm.
this was like all on me. And like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm moving and like still don't, I kind of don't know what I'm doing. I guess I have to, figure it out, which I did. So I transferred to Chico State and, stayed there and, didn't kick and scream, you know what I mean? Just because it was so much different from the Bay Area, the hustle and bustle, you know what I mean? But I found peace and just curiosity, just being, moving from an urban community to a more rural community.
Mm.
Now living in Humboldt, folks in Humboldt feel like Chico's the big city, but to me, Bay Area kid, you know what I mean? It's like, nah, Chico's a little bumpkin town.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, it definitely challenged me and just again made me like, well, why am I here? You know what I mean? And I stuck it out, graduated, you know what I mean, outside of the partying that does not happen at Chico State University,
Right.
and met my wonderful wife, and yeah, and then moved on over to the North Coast. And like you mentioned, Dr. Donaldson, my wife is a Humboldt girl. She's born and raised, lived out in Freshwater for her first 14 years, and moved out to McKinleyville because her dad, my father-in-law, is a local potterer. So he
Oh,
needed like I don't know, I guess it's like city codes where you can't have
sure.
like a kiln. Let's say like he needed to live like
They're complicated. Yeah.
yeah. So that's and yeah, when my wife and I, when we met in college, like the goal was not to move to Humboldt because
Mm.
one, she's from here. She's like, man, I'm trying to,
Right.
I'm not trying to do all that again. You know what I mean? And then,
We hear you, young people of Humboldt County. We hear you loud and clear. It's okay to feel this way sometimes.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all right. And then San Jose was way too big for her. So but when we finished up school, the recession hit, you know what I mean? And I found that a nonprofit agency called Remy Vista Incorporated. I interned at the Chico site, and I saw that they had a site here in Humboldt. And when I saw there was a job opening, yeah, that's what brought me up. And
Mm.
I've been here in Humboldt County since August of 2009.
Very cool. And you're currently here at the College of the Redwoods. We're most interested in your work with the Northern Humboldt High School District School Board. But I think it might set up segment three just a little bit. If you could just tell us a little bit about the work you did at Cal Poly Humboldt, is that worthwhile here at the top? If not, we can move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I got my master's degree from HSU, Humboldt State
Let's go,
University.
Jacks.
So I don't know what the Cal Poly. No, I'm
Let's
just
go,
kidding.
Jacks. I've worked for both institutions and I root for both sides.
No, me too, me too.
Yeah, you've been there.
When I got my master's degree at Humboldt State University, Hill Stairs University, and then when I came on as a staff, the faculty member at Humboldt State University, I was in that transition as well. So yeah, I came on to campus at Humboldt State University in 2018, and through the CAPS program. It's an acronym that stands for Counseling and Psychological Services.
It's a great program.
Yeah, I mean, again, for folks, viewers, please utilize those services, especially if you're a college student. Your tuition and fee pays for itself.
Yep.
Like it's rewarding, and I feel like my 4 years being in that role has had definitely helped out a lot of college students navigate the things. So
Hmm.
please, there's no shame and shade and utilizing your wellness and being an active force behind that.
For sure.
But yeah, so my role in the clinic was really unique because my title, it was the multicultural specialist. So but I still performed the tasks and duties as a staff psychotherapist.
Hmm.
So yeah, there was some time that I was in the clinic, conducting individual group counseling, all those kind of things, assessments. But a majority of my time was out of the clinic, engaging with students of color, whether it's in the the CCAE, the Cultural Centers of Academic Excellences, or programs that serve students of color, like the EOP program, TRIO, the RAMP program. Uh, not athletics. So there was a lot of other programs that I was a liaison. You know what I mean, to bring awareness of mental health, and also providing outside of the box clinical services. Where yeah, we would have group counseling like at one of the cultural centers. Super informal, super low key. And with the hopes that that was the space that certain students needed, or that hey, this was like a Costco sample, and maybe they needed a high level of care that was provided like at the clinic, and having somebody that they knew worked there, you know what I mean? Not saying it was me seeing all the students of color, because that's a very large tax, you know what I mean? But just knowing like, oh hey, I co-signed the clinic, you know what I mean? These are great people who work here, and just try it out, you know what I mean? If your person's not hitting the same, then let's figure it out. But this is a place that should be welcoming, and that's gonna serve and meet your needs. So yeah, I did that from August 2018 to May 2022, and yeah,
This
yeah.
is the Civic Union on KZZH. If you want to, you can text us at 707-498-4146. We're talking to Cedric Aaron Jr., who is a member of the Northern Humboldt High School District School Board there. What got you first interested in being a member of the local school board?
Oh my Jesus, goodness.
The large paycheck and all the glamour associated,
Yeah,
the
you know
private
what I
jet and
mean.
the
Contributing to my purse and all that.
right.
No, it's funny. So, well, no, it's not really funny. Actually, so honestly, like, so I was, before, I was talking about, my college experience and and some and a little bit of my professional experience, but for me growing up, you know what I mean. It was, I don't know if I was, I don't know where I got it from, honestly, because my parents weren't really highly active in their community, and I don't know if it was just the energy from the Bay, just with folks out there moving differently, being active in their own communities or whatnot. But I just had this, like, this nudge just to yeah, just to serve and help others, and give back and pay it forward, even from high school, where I was part of the student government, you know what I mean? Because all my friends were saying like the school dances were trash, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, I'll run so I can be your voice, and then I can get these dances like on and popping, you know what I
Very
mean?
cool.
Time in Chico, do a community service where we had this event called Scour and Devour, where college group, fraternities, sororities, different group populations. We wake up on a Saturday, go around town, Chico. You know what I mean? Again, this is Saturday morning, so this is from after Friday night of shenanigans. You know what I mean?
It's a big
Yeah,
ask.
yeah, just going around cleaning up. You know what I mean? From anywhere from like bubble gum from benches, to large furniture, and getting some mussels and dumping them in big dump trucks, and then we devour, and then there's a big old tri-tip lunch that's for
There you go.
the volunteers and community members,
Okay.
and then even here at Humboldt, volunteering at my kids' school, being really active in the Eureka NAACP. Um, we're talking about Cal Poly Humboldt, and some of the issues that the student population deal with in terms of like inequity and social injustice and whatnot, and also as a community member, there's programs called, such as like Home Away from Home, where community members just come together and just help students feel like, hey, this is your home. Like, you're not just here for 3 or 4 years and we don't care about you. Like, no, you're every bit of our community, and here's community members outside of the uh the uh the ivory tower, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
that want to get to know you, and vice versa. And yeah, so being helping out on those kind of things. So and just kind of want to give some context, like, serving is not like a cool trendy thing that I do. Like, I feel like that's kind of been a part of me.
That's cool. There's lots of different ways it sounds like that you're looking to get involved.
Totally. And so with the school board gig, so this is going back during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I don't think we all knew how hard it was. You know what I mean? But in the midst of the pandemic, the murder of George Floyd, and it just didn't catch the nation on fire, but it really came to be a global movement. You know what I mean? Not just for Mr. Floyd in Minnesota, but just for civil rights in general. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a deep thinker, and I like this, and I do self reflect quite a bit, and um, for all my social work professionals or students or folks who got their degrees in social work, you know how we are. We can never turn it off. You know what I mean? We're always wanting to social work and do the things. You know what I mean? So again, not to like say this as a flex. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I felt good about my contributions. You know what I mean, to the community. But during that time of the social unrest, you know what I mean? Like, man, I'm not doing enough. What more can I do? Like, what more can I do? Like, what else am I not doing, Cedric? You know what I mean? This is me
Yeah.
talking to myself, and then I started thinking about, well, what are the things that I care about, and some of my friends, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's interesting just because, uh, earlier in my career, you know what I mean? I was the young, cool, hip, you know what I mean? Professional provider, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was cool if I said the slang and did the things, you know what I mean? Like, I was still cool enough to say and do those things, you know what I mean? And then like I blink, and then like, yeah, like my friends and some other folks like said, like, your uncle now, you Unc said now, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, when did that happen? Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a few pounds heavier, I'm a little gray, you know what I'm
Look in the
saying?
mirror and you see a grown up, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, when did that happen? So but it's funny, as like, as I reflected on that, like, yeah, and it's like, I have a ton of kids who you know what I mean, that I've mentored along the way, whether it was through my own kids, who just coming over and being at my house and just seeing, just a healthy male, you know what I mean? Or, kids who, again, like maybe, their home life situation is not the healthiest, and they don't have that person to ask certain questions as far as how to like navigate life, you know what I mean? Whether it's like basic adulting, like said, like, like really, like, how do I get a cosigner, or
Yeah.
how do I write a resume, or like, man, like, how do you interview, like, what do you have to do, those kind of things, and so yeah, I'm really passionate about kids, you know what I mean? Just because like I was mentioning, some kids aren't privileged to have, those healthy role models at the hip, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even with some of those who do, sometimes it's like nice for kids to have a different voice other than like
Yeah.
mom and dad,
Right.
It just lands, it hits different,
For sure.
So I was like, yeah, okay, kids, okay, I love the kids, okay, cool. Well, what else, and I'm like, okay, like education, I'm that's something that my mom instilled in me and my brothers and my sister, which is education. She just felt really strongly that education was going to take us where we needed to go.
Hmm.
And yeah, once you get that diploma or degree, I mean, you can, like, you can throw it in the puddle outside in Humboldt or whatever, but that ain't going away. You can order a new one and your government name's still on it. Like, you can't take away your education. You know
We're
what I
both
mean?
pretty biased, but I would consider this to be good advice personally, I would say. Again, we're biased, but
So yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm a product of public education
Mhm.
too, you know what I mean? And again, raising, having kids going through the system, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I want to get involved in the schools a little bit more, you know what I mean? And then doing some research, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I've done PTOs, okay, but school boards. I was like, oh, because I emailed my kids' superintendent, Renee McBride. I was like, hey, how do you do the school board? And she got really excited at first, and I was like, was it just me, or then I learned it's like, kind of as you joked around earlier, Dr. Donaldson,
Yeah.
that being a school board trustee is a thankless job.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a lot of people running to be a school board
Right.
trustee, as I learned a few years ago.
They're
Um,
looking for folks.
yeah, yeah. But I couldn't serve on that board just because I didn't live in the I was outside of the district of residence. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I was like, well, what else? Oh, okay, well, oh, the high school district. I'm like, oh, okay. And then yeah, that's where I learned more about the school board trustee for Northern Humboldt Union High School District, and yeah,
You said you had some youth government experience. What was it like being a candidate this time around? Was it different or?
it was very different. Because one, I mean, doing the school thing, it's like, oh, all right, I'll tell the adult to put me on the ballot, and then students,
Yep.
you know,
Make a poster, hang it up.
yeah. Promise, I'll buy some Pizza Hut,
Yeah.
some votes, and
Wow. Okay. That's a big campaign right there. Okay. Okay.
So I don't know. So I had I had zero idea that a school board trustee seat is an elected position. Like I had zero idea.
Huh.
I remember contacting our superintendent's administrative assistant and like, okay, yeah, I want to do it. Okay, what do I do? They're like just a little form, and then a letter goes out to parents and families of the district, and that's it, right? And she's like, no. I was like, what do you mean no? Like, what else I got? Oh, you got to go to the office of elections. I'm like, for what? I'm already registered. Like,
Right.
why? Like, why? She's like, you have to. It's more than just. I was like, what? And then again, I do my. I'm looking around. I'm like, whoa, wait, what?
What have
Wait,
I done?
I'm on the ballot. Like, wait, you have to get on the ballot of like, of like.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, what? So that was very intimidating, you know what I mean? But I was like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Cool.
So did that, filed the paperwork, did all the things, and then I learned afterwards when the filing date closed that for my election, it was there was 2 open seats, but 3 candidates were running. So I was like, oh, what does that mean? I was like, yeah, I gotta get votes, you know what I mean? And yeah, so um myself and one of the other candidates, I've known in the past, and my observation looking at elections, whether it's locally or on the national scale, tend to be pretty gnarly, like personal attacks and
Yeah, not great.
people like internet searching like some secrets and all the things,
I've seen Scandal. I know what happens.
So for folks who really know me, like that's not really how I get down, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to like demean or ruin lives and do all the things, like if I wanted to get voted in, I wanted it to be like on my own merit, you know what I mean? And for what I stand for, so
Outstanding.
so instead of like going that route and being malicious and doing all that kind of stuff, the other candidate and I, we decided to, well, let's model a healthy way to run a campaign,
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't that we ran together. We were just, cooperating,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Again, just to show everybody else, like, yeah, you don't need to move in a negative way. And I feel like, especially if you're representing, being a school board trustee,
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
Right.
I would want somebody kind and
Collaborative.
rational and collaborative, yeah,
Thoughtful.
to sit in that seat, yeah, for sure, so that's what I did, and yeah, got up signs and
Like, how's the yard sign game? Yeah, that's the real question.
yeah, the local newspaper publications, throw some ads, again, this was during the pandemic, so they had a town hall, meet the candidates, so that was virtually. And like right now, I'm pretty comfortable just talking to folks right now, but like for whatever reason, like doing that, like I knew in my brain, like Cedric, like you're talking to the whole county about this, and they're gonna be asking you questions, and like totally like spaz it out,
I teach public speaking, and I love this. Yes, correct.
But yeah, and then I think you there was some you alluded to, yeah, use of social media, so using that to engage with others. Because again, we're during the pandemic, so it wasn't like, hey, come meet at me, hey, let's go have a beer with the candidate at the Big Food Tap Room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had to engage my community safely and just in more of a unique way.
Yeah.
You know, so it was, yeah, it was again, like I had no idea how to do the things, you know what I mean, but having community help me out and provide support and feedback, that was definitely helpful, like being a candidate and
Yeah.
running, yeah, campaigning for an election.
We've talked to a bunch of different folks, and you may be the first one who just found themselves to be a candidate running for office. That's a great story, and I just love it. What would you tell listeners who are out there right now who never considered getting involved in local politics before, but who might be interested in getting started?
Yeah, no, totally. I'm gonna quote one of my good friends and someone I look up to, Sharon Blank, former NAACP president here in the Humboldt Eureka area, and she always tells folks, you know what I mean, just just go do it. It's like Nike. Just go and do the thing, even if you don't know right then and there everything. Just do it. And Sharon, I know I'm misquoting you, but it's just that energy. And how I paraphrase is like, yeah, like you're not gonna have all the answers. You know what I mean? But taking a vulnerable risk is a huge step into making some healthy and some positive changes. And she's also been very upfront about, like, man, like when I decided to do the NAACP thing, like I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt passionate about a community and who lives in this community and just wanted to do good work. She's not serving in that role anymore, but when she had said it in, like, in public speaking engagements and just um, you know, I took that to heart. So yeah, viewers, yeah, if you yeah, if you don't have a background in political science or anything like that, yeah, just shoot your shot, you know what I mean? And give it a try. And I mean, and I know there's also myself and other public officials who would, have a, go out for a coffee or if you do want a beer or something like that, to just talk about our experiences. You know what I mean? Just because, again, I feel like most of the public servants here in our community are for the public and the community. At least that's how I feel. The impression that folks give. So yeah.
Today is Monday, February the 5th, 2023. This is KZZH. You're listening to the Civic Union, and we are talking to Northern Humboldt High School District Board Member Cedric Aaron Jr. You can text us. This is new, 707 498 4146. Again, 707 498 4146. If you have questions for Northern Humboldt High School District Board Member Cedric Aaron here on the Civic Union. Cedric, thanks for telling us a little bit about your background. This is where we kind of try to dig in a little bit to your job. There's like by the book answers to this question, but then there's also just like, how do you, as a person who does this job, like conceptualize the answer to this question? Because there's very informal ways, I think, of looking at some of these questions. And the first one is just kind of like deceptively straightforward. Where is your district specifically?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I feel like um majority of folks just think that the Northern Humboldt Union High School District is just, excuse me, Arcata and McKinleyville, and then that's it.
Hmm.
No, it is a huge district. So our district border goes as north as Oric,
Wow.
as south as
Well,
Maple Creek,
I did not know this.
as east as like Little Pass Blue Lake, Greenpoint,
Hmm.
and as west as Samoa, Manila.
Wow.
So it's a huge district,
Wow. Huh.
So
Huh.
yeah. So no, thanks for no, that's a good question.
And when you think about like again like where your district is, it's it's the high school campuses and places like that, but it's like these basketball games and things like that. It's in all of these different community spaces too, I would imagine, just in terms of how you do the work that you do. Oh, we've already gotten a question. This is very exciting. It says for Cedric as a Bay Area native, are you supporting the 49ers this weekend? Uh-oh.
Yes, I am. You know, and this better not be someone that knows me
Uh-huh.
because as a sports fan, I'm a big sports nut. But football is like my only random non-Bay Area sports team that I claim.
Uh-huh.
But within that question, uh, him, her, they, I am supportive of the 49ers. My grandma's a diehard Niner fan. She passed away, and I could just see her. I could just feel her energy of cussing and throwing things at the TV when her Niners aren't doing well and when they're doing well. So, yeah, I hope the Niners bring one home back to the Bay
For the
this Sunday.
for the sake of the television, at least it sounds like. Again, the number is 707-498-4146. You can ask all sorts of questions. It would seem very exciting. Sounds like that one might have been a setup. I don't know. Anyways, same with the last one. There's a by the book definition, but a conceptual definition, perhaps. What is your job description? How do you look at that?
Yeah, so I feel as again, myself and my trustees and working with our superintendent is to just ensure that the district is responsive to the values and beliefs of of our communities.
Hmm, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is pretty simple, maybe complicated. Who do you represent?
Well, I represent everybody in the district,
Right?
including students, families,
Yeah.
guardians,
Yeah.
um, stakeholders. Whether it's folks who, maybe they're three generations removed from the school district,
Yeah.
and faculty and staff.
Yeah.
It's it could be difficult at times, you know what I mean, because all the needs are different. But I do feel like no, I do understand that yeah, I'm out to represent and hear all voices, not just folks who think like me or share the same values and all those kind of things. I actually want to continue to I mean, yeah, there's folks who know me, there's folks who know what I'm all about, you know what I mean? But I do feel like there is a slice in the community who, for whatever reason, have not engaged with me or vice versa. And I just want to, yeah, just let folks know, like, hey, I'm an open book. I'm pretty low key. I guess again for folks who know what I'm all about, and I want to hear those voices. You know what I mean? And I'm always like, I'm not shy to even put myself in like unknown environments,
Yeah.
like I mentioned earlier, like I'm from the Bay Area, San Jose. Like um even growing up, like there was like some farming and all the things in San Jose, but it was still a town, so one of the communities that I've since serving on the board that I really want to um, get further connected with is the FFA community,
Yeah.
because I was like, wow, farming, like, okay, and then just learning about how important farming is, not just for the state, but just like in our rural community, and yeah, just understand how that all works. You know what I mean? Just because there's a lot of time commitments away from outside of the classroom, going to FFA events, going to interviews, workshops, and all the things, and yeah, I want and I just want to highlight, like, you know eh, the farming community, and even like other communities that are like more of the vocational route, you
Yeah.
know what I mean,
Yeah.
which I see a whole lot here at College of the Redwoods, because I work here,
Absolutely.
and yeah, and just yeah, like, like I mentioned earlier, yeah, I did the college thing, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
but I feel like not just the pandemic, but this current generation, the Gen Zs,
Hmm.
I think the next one after Gen Alphas,
Hmm.
I think, I don't know,
Hmm.
but I've learned from them more than any population that there's different ways to navigate education, and not being force fed one form of education, and so that's that's who I want to represent again, not just for folks who are like quote in my lane, but
Yeah.
everybody. You know what I mean? Like I just want to yeah, like I said, make sure I'm doing the job that I sworn an oath to do.
A lot of people say things like, I don't have kids in school. Why do I pay taxes for schools? And it's because the influence of these institutions goes way beyond the boundaries of these schools. And I think your answer really shows that. We're getting some action here on the phone line 707-498-4146. Pretty exciting. I'll ask the short one first and then the second one. You may not know the answer. Any idea roughly how many high school students in your district? Because I don't know this at all.
Yeah. I should know
Yeah.
this.
Oh, how many schools? Oh, how many schools? How about that?
Oh yeah. That's
There we
easier.
go. There we go. Yeah. The first one is a
folks
bigger
are
number.
transferring it out.
This is a smaller number. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, there's five. So there's McKinleyville High School. There's Arcata High School. There's Six Rivers Charter High School, which is awesome, and that charter school is on the campus of Arcata High School.
Okay.
And then we have two continuation schools, Mad River and oh my gosh, why am I having a brain fart right now?
Live on the radio can happen.
Jeez. Principal Larson, don't shoot me, please. It's your school.
It happens.
But yes,
We can
yes,
correct it.
there's five.
There's five. You got it. Very cool. And we're going to get to this maybe a little bit later. We might even have one of the clips from your Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see how that goes. Maybe not. What are some of the ways that you engage students in their needs to kind of help to continue help improving the district? I found one of the posts you made from like the very first day of school, and I just thought it was great the way. And honestly, tonight when you started this interview by being like, "Go Tigers, go Panthers," like you're invested, you're engaged. What are some of the ways that you do that to help the students?
Yeah, no, totally. Like, you know, well, just being a dad of kids in the district. That's one of them. You know what I mean? So a lot of it is embarrassing my own kids. You know what I mean?
Excellent work.
Yes. It's my dad duty. And so but honestly, yeah, just going to events. You know what I mean? And like I mentioned, I'm a big sports head, so going to athletic events, theater, fundraisers, academic events. Last week, I we had an LCAP community stakeholders meeting, and those are always weird just because again, like I'm a dad of a kid who's in the district, you know what I mean? Right. But I'm a school board trustee, so I'm like, okay, which hat am I wearing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think at once.
Yeah, but I felt like I wanted to wear my parent hat, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm a big extrovert, so I'll just go up to students and just, hey, how's it going? Hey, like what's it like? So that's one way. Arcata High School, they run a newspaper called the Pepper Box. And viewers, if y'all are not subscribing to the Pepper Box, please do. The students do awesome work. It's not just word searches and basic trends. You know what I mean? They'll talk about trends, but they'll really talk about really tough, complex topics that are that the students in the school in their own school communities are dealing with. So subscribing to that newsletter, and it's very informative because there's been quite a few things within those articles that we've brought as a board to our superintendent.
Very cool.
One example was there was a story of like the differences between the boys and the girls' bathrooms, the locker rooms.
Right.
There's reports that the girls' locker room was like rotten and just beat up, and the boys had a little, So what stemmed from that article was like, whoa, wait, what's this? This ain't cool. You know what I mean? And the board was invited to check out the bathrooms and talk with the facility team and just, and seeing like, hey, this is the plan of how we're going to address these things. You know what I mean? And it was done in a not a like the board's coming down and energy. It was just like, well, we're just curious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the solution focus lens. And so that I feel like that's one way to be engaged.
That's very cool.
I also have I have an Instagram page, you know what I mean, and more of the younger students attend to Instagram more than Facebook
Yeah.
that I've heard, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
I
But
was Google searching and finding what came up. So,
yeah, yeah. But now I'm hearing for the students, like
yeah.
Instagram is like kind of on its way out, you
It's,
know what I
yeah,
mean.
I've heard this.
But I don't TikTok, so I don't know.
Very confusing, all of it
I
to me.
know, I know. But that's one way too, and not just for and I just and just following kind of with the different activities and clubs and events that the students are doing, and highlighting their faculty. It's been really cool to engage with students in that way. You know, we also have three student representatives on our school board.
Oh, cool.
So each of those students represent the Six Rivers or Arcata and McKinleyville High School, and their role is to be that voice for the student body at their school. So that's also, I feel like, another way of engaging with the students, of hearing what they're saying, what's going on their campus, and then as they're participating in the board meeting, they can report out.
Are they pretty willing to talk to you, the students? Do they have lots of things to say, or are they typically just kind of like, I don't know what to say? I've never
No,
talked to a school district board member before.
yeah, no, it's been, I can't say it's just all been me. I really do feel like it's the makeup of the current board.
Hmm.
Super inviting, not going to bite your heads off. We're not going to look down on you just because you're younger than us. I mean, on top of the student board representatives, I mean, we've had students come to our school board meetings and speak on a topic
Neat.
or whatnot, during you know public comment. And which, again, as a younger person, like I think kudos to them, because that,
Yeah.
I mean, the board meetings, like, high key, is a very intimidating space.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So again, I feel like if our reputation and culture was one being like,
Right.
I don't think that would come. You know what I mean? It'd just be like, you know, uh, you know, petty comments among themselves, which could be valid.
They
if
have
that,
their ways, yes.
yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
but having an environment where they can take a vulnerable risk to let not just the board but the school community know kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's always productive. It's not just you know just hype and attention. It's really like, wow, like when they're speaking, we need to have our eyes and ears open, and take notes.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably not so simple. What does a day in the office look like? You probably don't have an office. Maybe you do. But what does a day in the office look like as a member of the school district board?
Yeah. So, as we joked around earlier, it's a thankless job because we don't get paid for it. You know what I mean? It is straight
You get to
community
run for an
service.
election, and that's it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, so I have a full-time job. I'm a dad, and I got all the things, and then I have to carve out time for my school board duties. So for me, day in the office is just because, like I said, I'm adulting on 1,000 at times.
Mm.
So I'll have my email app to where my school board email address is linked up to. So I'll check out the emails every day just to make sure that if our superintendent or any of our school faculty folks is sharing information, just so for us to know, or if there's like, ooh, hey, you got to read this kind of thing and address this, we have that too. And as well as, again, like community members who are sharing giving us some feedback or whatnot. And I just want to be respectful of people's time. I don't want folks to say like they emailed me last week and I don't respond to them or address that issue like a week out or 2 weeks later. I think that's disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So check emails. I'll check my social media. Sometimes folks will, instead of emailing me, maybe send me like a private message using those streams. So again, just don't want to ghost people or anything like that.
Right.
We typically have a monthly school board meeting every month,
Mhm.
and when it's school board meeting time, we'll get our agenda and our school board packet a few days in advance. And sometimes those packets are like 500, 600 page
Oof.
documents.
Mhm.
So being mindful of when it's school board meeting time, you know what I mean, carving out time on the weekends, whatnot, to really look at them, study from them, be prepared, and if I have any questions, follow through. Making sure I let my superintendent know
Mm.
so he can get back to me in a timely manner versus catching him catching him unexpectedly in a meeting and he doesn't have
Right.
all the information needed. You know what I mean? And so we can do board business. So
Where are those monthly meetings? Where do those take place?
yeah, so we split up the meetings. So the first half of the academic year from August to December, they're held at the McKinleyville High Library.
Hmm.
And then in January we flip, and then we go to Arcata High School and we meet at their library at 6 o'clock
Okay.
until January to June.
And are those available on Zoom in any capacity? Can folks watch those online?
Yeah, well,
Or?
so we used to have it via Zoom
Right, for
during the
COVID,
pandemic,
sure,
you know
right.
what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean? And then we moved away after pandemic,
Not doing the
cooled
hybrid
down,
thing quite yet, or
Yeah, so but we did we were streaming them on our district YouTube channel.
oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah, yeah. Um and how it was set up, it wasn't like, oh, I can ask questions then and there. It was just so you can follow and listen and
Hmm.
do all the things, you know what I mean? Um so yeah, so if you can't go in person, which I know for some families and some community members and students, it could be a challenge, but you can always follow via YouTube. And
Okay.
in the last few months, we're trying to get better at like, here's a quick like board highlight recap. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And our district administrative assistant will share that out so folks could see it. And then sometimes I'll get it and sending it out on my social media just because I know sometimes folks don't like emails. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's just like, oh, there's
sometimes.
the image on my Facebook. There it is.
Yeah. I just found it. Northern Humboldt UHSD on YouTube is where you can go. Northern Humboldt UHSD is where you've got all sorts of videos here. This looks pretty cool. Very exciting. If you'd like to, you can also text us 707-498-4146 if you have any final questions here for Cedric Aaron Jr. What would you tell listeners out there who are totally apathetic about politics and they don't think any of this is worth any time at all? Any words for them?
Yeah, I want to say, because I feel like when that question or that energy gets directed to those individuals, it's full of shade and anger and disgust. You know what I mean? And I don't know about you, but if I was to receive something like that, that's not going to excite me to get involved or develop a sense of awareness on something like that, especially politics.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that, yeah, like I empathize for folks who feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially I'm right off the gate. I'm thinking of populations who historically have been excluded and
Yeah.
definitely wasn't designed to serve those populations. You know what I mean? I've heard that feedback, but I would say to those folks, yeah, I feel like it is harder to see on a larger scale when we look at the nation or even the state politics.
Mhm.
What I really love about local government and local politics is that you can see change, a lot sooner, and you can like touch it, smell it, see it. You know what I mean? Like, um, it can be done. So I do feel like, I mean, if you want to kind of start, from the ground up and move your way outward, you know what I mean? Yeah, put all your energy in local government, you know what I mean? And see where your tax money is going towards, or leaders who you believe in, or that align with some of your values and all the things. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? And I know in the last few years, school boards in our country have become polarizing, and politics has spewed all over it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but we won't go
Hmm.
there.
That's another
But yeah,
show.
that's another show. You know what I mean? But it's definitely not. At least on the school board side, it's not meant to be that way.
Right.
As well as our local government. You know what I mean? These are, um, your officials are people who, I mean, we live in a rural community. You know what I mean? So, you're gonna see Rex Bone at Costco.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see your board president at Winco trying to get the hookup. You know what I mean? You're gonna see Trustee Cedric at a CR basketball game. You're gonna see your people in community for the most part, and I think that's I don't know. I just think that's really cool too. It's not like on some away place in a castle or something like that.
Yeah. No, it's real, it's local, and it's stuff that you can kind of see on the everyday, and I think that really matters. Okay. So you told us, I'd like to, if we can, move to just some of this third segment that we had kind of talked a little bit about. We've only got about 8 more minutes left. We kind of ran out of time here. It just goes right by. Um,
Yes.
you said that you'd like to discuss collaborating with the NHUHSD faculty, staff, and greater community to review, consider revising, or developing the district mission, vision, and equity statements. Give us just a brief explanation about what these are, and then maybe a little bit about some of the revisions that you might be considering.
Yeah. So it's God brief.
Right. Yeah. We've got like 7 minutes, but
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
can go fast.
So our vision for the district that we have currently is to develop caring, engaged, and adaptable individuals who embrace opportunities and are empowered to meet challenges in their future. So again, we want to look at the vision, our mission, and our goals and objectives, and just see if that's really hitting not just we just want to we wanted to see like we want to really dissect and see like, okay, are these just words that like it just sounds nice,
Mhm.
or are we like actually one doing these things, and and is this going to serve like the greater good? You know what I mean? Are we going to make, are we going to help build and create students who are going to be out, who are going to go out in the communities and do good work? I feel like as far as the revisions goes, um, I don't know. That's tough to say. We're in this process right now of really gathering what the community, like what the issues are,
Mhm.
what are the strengths, what are the areas of opportunity, and going on from there. I really like the key word that I would not want to revise in our vision is having adaptable individuals.
Mm.
You know,
Mm. Mhm.
I, I feel like in education and leadership, if folks are just still stuck on 1980s, you know what I mean? It's
Mm. Mhm.
2024.
Mhm.
I'm not sure we're gonna get a lot of accomplished. You know what I mean? And yes, changes are can be scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For sure. You know what I mean? But um, but I think that's where the adaptability part comes from, and I feel like as our superintendent and as well as the school board and the other district leaders, if we can model being adaptable,
Mm.
I feel like we can lead the charge in like our staff, faculty, students, and community members being adaptable.
Mhm.
I at least for me, like, sometimes, yeah, like I need to know, like, all right, this is gonna work. But there's a lot of things I'm just like, man, let's just noodle to the wall and just see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, okay, let's learn from it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
We're a
But
spaghetti on the wall family too. We just throw it up there to see what happens. And yeah. Yep. Yep. I get it. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mentioned earlier that we had our LCAP community meeting last week, and some of the data was, yeah, like easy to see and digest. You know what I mean? But data's the data. You
Right.
know what I mean? So after like processing, like, oh, ouch. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, there's opportunity of growth,
Yeah.
and we have the data from everybody else except outside of people in privilege. We have people who are telling us this is what we're falling short at, or this is what we like to see. So we're pretty excited, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to use that data and make some data driven solutions.
Yeah, you said that you're going to collaborate with like the faculty and staff, but also with like the greater community, right? Both of those were kind of in there. What do those collaborations look like? How do you work with different groups as you go trying to implement some of this?
Yeah, I again, it's interesting because I've been in the community for so long, so I don't really, so at times, like when I first became a trustee, I didn't really understand or really process like the power and privilege that came from that, like our superintendent told us like, oh yeah, like people get sketched out when the board trustees on campus. I was like, sketched out? It's just me. So, like, no,
I don't
like,
even get paid.
yeah, like these teachers like taught my own kids. You know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a big deal
Yeah.
when you're on campus. You
Yeah.
know what I
Well, you
mean?
vote for things that matter. It's true. Like that's impactful for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, just being on campus, you know what I mean, without, and again on my end, just having faculty and staff come meet with me. Again, if they're emailing, communicating with me, responding to those communications. So it's like, okay, well, I'm just talking to the wind. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like, oh, okay, Cedric might not have the answer, but he's responsive and he'll follow up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Very
So
cool.
I think as far as faculty, staff, in the greater community, just knowing that again, I might not have the answers right then and there because I might be in line trying to check out and buy kitty litter, but I'll get back to you, follow up, and know that I'll do what I say,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
I
kitty litter
hope
can
that
be time
folks.
sensitive. That can be like a now thing sometimes.
Yes.
Well, Cedric, thank you so much for taking the time. It's really been great chatting with you tonight.
No, no, thanks for having me, and yeah, no appreciate all of y'all, and continue the support, and like I said, for folks who are curious about this politics thing or government thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not too hard to find, so I'd welcome your questions or just your thoughts.
And we got to go find out who's winning these basketball games. It sounds like,
Yes.
yeah, there's news out there to learn. Well, this has been the Civic Union. It's a collaboration between KZZH, Access Humboldt, and the Department of Communication Studies at Cal Poly Humboldt, uniting the people of the county with their representative government and community helpers. Once again, I'd like to thank Cedric Aaron Jr. for joining us and Juan Cervantes, the Humboldt County Registrar of Voters, for getting us together tonight. This is a great conversation. Thank you, Juan. I'd also like to thank my producer here in the studio with me, Nate Dogg. We will be back next month on Monday, March the 4th, the day before Election Day, with more local people serving our community right here on 96.7 FM Eureka. Up next, certified animal behaviorist Charlotte Peltz gives you the tips, tricks, and tools to make it work with the roommate who leaves their hair all over the furniture. It's living with your dog. Only on KZZH, Access Humboldt. Local voices through community media.